So it's, you know, it's been used as a word for something secret. And so that too, you know, those dark things, that monster in the closet, what is it that you're hiding? And it's interesting to investigate and try to find where that darkness is. Alright, this is Johanna from Travelers Paranormal. I am completing the 7th challenge in the Para Games, brought to you by What the Paranormal. So this challenge, challenge number 7, or the second bonus challenge, was to go to a closet in a haunted location and investigate for 15 minutes. Unlike the other challenges, we are allowed to use night vision, so I'm going to opt to use that just so that we can see something. Hopefully you will see something move behind me. I've got the viewfinder turned the other way, so I can't see anything. So if anything is moving behind me or someone starts waving, I'll know it when I watch this back. So you will not believe how hard it's been to find a closet in a haunted location. We were going to go back to our neighbor's house where we were last week because their master bathroom where we're investigating also has a closet attached to it, which is where they feel like something is watching them, kind of get a little bit of a creepy feeling from it, and a red-haired, red-bearded figure was seen hovering over one of them and then kind of like running out of the room and laughing, so a bit of a mischievous figure. Also, while there last week, you may, if you saw the other video, I connected with someone who said his name was Daniel. He made barrels, and he'd been making them all his life. The town that we are in is called Coopertown. A Cooper is a barrel maker, and I forget what year it was, but one of the early on censuses, like 70% of Coopertown were barrel makers, so that's pretty true to the area. Anyway, I wanted to go back there, kind of continue that, use their closet. However, they throw absolutely amazing Halloween parties, and their Halloween party is tonight, and they already have guests at their house. So their house was out because obviously they're getting ready for the party, and their guests are there. So then we went to a local business that employees have reported the sounds of doors opening and closing and people being in the location after they've closed. So we went there yesterday. Meghan went first, 15 minutes. I went next, 15 minutes, separately. Both of us thought we made contact with the spirit of a child. But when we came home, plugged my memory card into my computer, and it told me that there was nothing on it. When I looked at it, it had recorded the first part of Megan's challenge, but it didn't record any of mine or her second part. This camera will only do 15-minute videos, so she was like around 18 minutes, so it didn't get the end of her video and nothing of mine, even though it gave us no indication that there was a problem. So what I did was I took what she had, filmed it with my iPhone off the viewfinder, and put that onto my computer. And that'll kind of be thrown at the end of this video as like bonus content. I also have the burst EVPs I did, and I'll pull out where I think I heard something that I thought might have been a small child. So anyway, I'm going to get started now. So I can use my neighbor's house, but I am using another house in the subdivision to give you an idea of the area. Part of the Trail of Tears, if you don't know what that is, in the 1800s, the U.S. government made a series of treaties and promises to the Native Americans and then proceeded to break every single one of them, culminating with the Trail of Tears when the government rounded everybody up and forced them to leave the areas that they now wanted to occupy and sent them to what is now Oklahoma, or as they were calling it, the Indian Territory. It was brutal. It was a forced march. They took people, the natives that had been living here, their cultures were built here. They took them, they forced them to leave their homes, leave everything they knew, basically just carry what they could carry, and they forced marched them all the way to Oklahoma. Didn't let them stop. So you had children, you had old people, you had women who were pregnant, people who were sick. They didn't care. They forced them all to Oklahoma. Very traumatic. I do believe that a traumatic experience like that leaves scars on the land. I think that leaves an effect. And obviously it's left an effect on the people too. I'll put a link at the bottom of this YouTube video, but there is a group called the Remember the Removal Riders, and every year it is young people from the Cherokee Nation, and they train and they will bicycle ride the entire Trail of Tears. They come through our town, they stop at our city hall. They're amazing. They share what they've learned of their culture and their journey and the connection they get with their ancestors. And they share that with people along the route, and they'll get to carry that on with them. So it's a great program, and I'll link it in the video. I know I enjoy being able to go to City Hall and welcome them each year. Where was I? Also, for history of this area, we knew that probably during the retreat from Bowling Green, troops may have come near here in the Civil War, just because we would be kind of on their way towards Nashville from Bowling Green. But I also got confirmed that not too far away was a Confederate encampment, maybe a training area. So we definitely did have troops in the area during the Civil War. Again, another turmoil. You're talking about a lot of pain left on the land and to the people that were inhabiting it at the time. I think that's how you get a lot of residual hauntings. And then Current. So Current, the subdivision that we live in, that we're in right now, that our neighbors are in, it's a larger piece of property that once belonged to one family, and now another piece of that property is being built on. They're putting down like the utilities and roads and all that kind of stuff. So the interesting thing about that part of the property is the family cemetery is there, of the family that at one point owned all of this property. So once they finish building it, it is going to be a cemetery in the middle of the subdivision, basically. And the cemetery hasn't been disturbed. It is fenced off. It has its whole area. They're not going to hurt it. They're good people. They're going to be respectful. But the land is, again, getting this big kind of upheaval and change, and that can definitely affect things. So I'm interested to see what that will bring out. I'm going to use my iPhone for some burst EVPs, and I'm going to use my CryptoChord, so hopefully you can see it right there. What this is a little music box. It is motion sensor. I will put a link in the YouTube video for the people that made it. They were awesome. They took our logo, they put it on there. We were able to pick the music, so I'm going to run my hand in front of it. So if it senses motion, it's pretty sensitive, so I'm going to try and stay in front of it. But if it senses motion, it's going to go off. So just a couple of neat investigative tools that I'm going to get to play with and experiment with. And apparently my arm is tired, so I can't hold the camera up. Don't know what's going on with that. But I'm going to get started with some burst EVPs, and we will see where we go from there. My name is Johanna. Is there anybody here with me? If there is anybody here, can you tell me your name? I've lived here now in this subdivision for 10 years. How long have you been here? If there's anyone here with me, can you tell me how old you are? I'm going to stop it there. I kind of like to keep burst EVPs to about a minute. Nothing too long, and I'll be able to listen back, see if I hear anything. And this way it'll allow for some quicker kind of interaction. My name is Johanna. Is there anybody here with me? If there is anybody here, can you tell me your name? I've lived here now in this subdivision for 10 years. How long have you been here? If there's anyone here with me, can you tell me how old you are? If there's anyone here with me, can you tell me how old you are? If there's anyone here with me, can you tell me how old you are? Alright, so I thought I heard something there. It kind of just sounded like a little bit of a whimper, so I'm not sure what that was. If there's anybody here, can you tell me what this property was used for when you were here? Did you live here, or did you work here? Is the red-haired, red-bearded figure here? If so, would you like to talk to me? If there's anybody here, can you tell me what this property was used for when you were here? Did you live here, or did you work here? Is the red-haired, red-bearded figure here? If so, would you like to talk to me? If there is anybody here with me, can you repeat this? If there's anyone here, can you tell me your last name? What brought you to the area? Oh, there's just a tap. Leaning forward, was it me? No. Somebody just tap? If there is anybody here with me, can you repeat this? If there's anyone here, can you tell me your last name? What brought you to the area? What brought you to the area? So I hear a noise there. Right there. What brought you to the area? So I think I forgot to mention, but this is actually also the second time filming this challenge here. The same issue I had with the memory card, despite the fact that I then reformatted it and brought it up, put it back in the camera, reformatted all that good stuff. I got the same error message. So the reason I just did that double tap again is because before, when I did that, I did get two fake taps afterwards. So I thought I would try that again and see if I can get an interaction that way. I thought I heard something there after the question, but I can't really understand it. At the most, it's 2 syllables, but it didn't really sound like very much. So let's try another one. If there's anyone here, were you a soldier during the Civil War? If there's anybody here, were you a barrel maker for the mills and the whiskey distilleries? If there's anyone here, did you take part in the Indian removal and travel the Trail of Tears? I have a device behind me that will play music if you move in front of it. Can you move in front of it? Alright. So a little bit longer than I'll usually go, but let's play and see what we got. If there's anyone here, were you a soldier during the Civil War? If there's anybody here, were you a barrel maker for the mills and the whiskey distilleries? If there's anyone here, did you take part in the Indian removal and travel the Trail of Tears? I have a device behind me that will play music if you move in front of it. Can you move in front of it? I have a device behind me that will play music if you move in front of it. Can you move in front of it? Alright. Alright, so not really anything on there. I'm probably going to try one more, and then I think my 15 minutes might be up, and then it'll be Megan's turn. I know I've got it kind of far away from the camera, but I'm doing that on purpose. I want it sitting on the dresser so that I can't like move my finger over it and possibly make it make noise. So, my name's Johanna. I'm probably going to be leaving soon. Is there anybody here who would like to communicate? If there is anybody here, how do you feel about the change that's happened in the area? Is it a lot different than when you were here growing up? Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like when you were here? My name's Johanna. I'm probably going to be leaving soon. Is there anybody here who would like to communicate? If there is anybody here, how do you feel about the change that's happened in the area? it a lot different than when you were here growing up? Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like when you were here? All right. So that is all the time that I've got. If anybody was here trying to reach out, trying to communicate, and I just didn't capture it on my iPhone in these recordings, thank you for trying. I know sometimes if you're not used to it, it's harder to communicate, and hopefully if there was someone here who wanted to communicate, we can find a way to communicate with you. Again, in the video description, I will put links for the Remember the Removal Riders, and also for the CryptoChord, even though it didn't go off. I mean, it's still a pretty fun device, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I was so happy with the way it came out. And a lot of history in this area. Some reports of maybe a mischievous figure. Like I said, we got the red hair and the beard. You know, there's all sorts of questions about like property lines and hauntings, and you know, is a spirit bound by what the property was when they were alive, or can they move between different properties? But I could talk about that for a while, so I will not do that now, but I would like to thank What the Paranormal for their challenges and their continued challenges, and we will see where it goes from here.
Okay, so this is Meghan from Travelers Paranormal, and I am here to complete the 7th challenge of the Para Games, sponsored by What the Paranormal, and this is the Monster in the Closet challenge. So I am here in a closet in one of the houses in our subdivision. If you have been following along with these challenges, you will have seen that in the last challenge we did the challenge at one of our neighbors' houses because they have been experiencing different activity in their house. And we were hoping to be able to use their closet. I think Johanna went through all of this already anyway, but they have a kick-ass Halloween party, and so they're getting ready for it, and we're going to be there too, so we definitely wanted to let them be able to get ready for it. So we didn't use it for this challenge. This challenge, Monster in the Closet, it's been a monster, and so we've already had to do it a couple of times, just trying to get it to work with different technological malfunctions and stuff. But so here I am, Monster in the Closet challenge for the Paranormal Games, sponsored by What the Paranormal. I am going to be investigating with an S-Box. I'm going to have a headset on, and I'm going to have earbuds in with the S-Box. And the reason why we tend to do that is we like to try to also get EVPs. And so if the S-Box is going out loud, if there was a group of people, we would do the S-Box out loud. But if it's just one person, when we listen back to this, we'll be able to see if we get EVPs too. In our previous challenges, in the static challenge and in the first mirror challenge, as well as the last mirror challenge at our neighbor's house, we talked about some of the history of the land. And I don't know if Johanna talked about any of it before, but there's been a lot going on. A new development that we actually just learned is we're in Tennessee. Obviously, the Civil War impacted this area. Tennessee voted for secession. That's controversial in and of itself because East Tennessee didn't, but Middle and West did, and so 2/3 won out. Tennessee was one of the first states to go back into the Union, and troops did move through. There's several battles. In one of our previous challenges, we were at the battlefield in Franklin, the Eastern Flank battlefield, and so obviously we knew that the Civil War impacted this area. What we didn't know is that there actually were troops stationed here. There's not major conflicts that were in this area specifically, but there were troops stationed here, and there were skirmishes and stuff that happened around that. So we're looking forward to exploring further that history. But anyway, so again, Monster in the Closet challenge. So I'm going to be in here for at least 15 minutes doing the challenge. I've got a timer that I'm going to turn on as soon as I get these headphones back in, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so now I was going to sit back, but so now my timer is running. I do have night vision on to show you I am here in a closet. Just going to introduce myself. My name is Megan. I live in this neighborhood, and if anyone is here to speak with me, I'd be happy to listen. So my S-Box is set to be sweeping through AM channels. So, listening. Honestly, the hardest part about this challenge right now was finding a closet. And Joe and I were thinking, like, all the houses in this neighborhood have closets, but our old house that we lived in up in New York before we came here didn't really have that many closets in it. We, mostly it was an older house. It was built in the 40s, but yeah, it's a thing now that like every house in every bedroom has a closet in America. In the UK, they still don't necessarily, and you'll see people talk about wardrobe versus closet debate, where they say wardrobe, and for us, that's a piece of furniture that holds your clothes. But yeah, in our old house, we didn't really have closets. We used furniture. It was just an older style house, and it wasn't built with closets. But now, houses pretty much always have closets in the bedrooms. I think like it's a standard industry that they don't call it a bedroom unless it has a closet attached. So we didn't necessarily want to repeat locations. We knew that we could rely on our neighbors because all of these houses have closets. So when this challenge came up, we were trying to think of, well, what closet can we use? And that kind of led me to looking at the history of closets, the etymology. I'm trying to hear it, but I'm not hearing anything come through. I might change, I have it on AM, I might change to FM if I don't start really hearing anything come through. But it led me to think about the etymology of closets. Obviously, closets are an interesting facet. We use them to store stuff, clothes, objects. In the 1800s, closet would refer to storing a place to store curiosities. Before that, closets were actually possibly entire rooms. They would be
they would be small rooms for, if you were a royal, your closet might be your private residence. There might be several rooms. Or they might be small rooms for devotion or study, or kind of like small offices that people might have and might refer to going off to the closet. And this was a usage that was in place from like the 1500s until the 1800s in both American and British English. In British English, though, when they started having indoor plumbing and referring to what we call restrooms or bathrooms as water closets, the closet being a separate room in the house kind of stopped being used officially. And I think that the guess is because it wasn't polite society to mention the restrooms in conversations, and so since that's what a closet was, they stopped using it. But yeah, so closets were places for privacy, places for secrecy. Like I said, they would be used as pieces where they would store curiosities. Etymologically, it comes from a couple of different Latin words. One is the verb claudere, to close. Think about closed away. Or also claus, which could refer to an enclosed space, a private space. Even it could refer to an outside area. And I saw, if that was someone, my name is Meghan, can you repeat that? So I heard, it sounded like it was a male voice saying open. That was really the first thing that I've heard come through. Yes. What do you want to open? I thought I just said portal. I'm like, maybe if this is not that same house, but we were in that neighbor's house talking about their closet and a portal and a vortex. Is this the same spirit that we were talking to a couple weeks ago? Or last week? So talking about it maybe having been that same spirit, a couple weeks ago with the sensory deprivation challenge, I was in the Monroe House in Indiana, and the mirror that I was looking at was across the room from me, and it was across a closet in that house. It didn't have doors, so it was an open closet. It was a closet that people had seen a woman walk through. And so while I was doing that investigation, and we can link that video in the description, I was talking about fire, because people said in that house that they picked up on a fire, but in our history research we couldn't find a fire in that house. And eventually I was led to the fire having been on Jefferson Street, which is nearby. And I asked the spirit, if I was communicating with someone, if they were in a fire in Jefferson Street, why were they here in this Monroe house?
And they said, because nobody's listening. And it had me and Joe, I am going to change this to FM because I'm really not getting any voices. It made me and Joe wonder about, property lines with spirits, obviously, just because I have a house there, my neighbors have their house, this house, plenty of other houses. But before that, this whole area was part of a farm. And before that, we haven't traced back the history of the family who might be the farm family that we know of got it from. They had it for generations, though, so it would be far back. But, property lines, will a spirit show up because this property was once all connected? Can it go to all the different houses, even though there might have only been one farmhouse at the time? In Nashville, there's a hotel that has a spirit that is sometimes seen, and where it's moving corresponds to the way it was laid out when that spirit lived, if they have the right person for it. But that's not the layout current state. So what exactly do property lines mean? Just because we were in that one specific neighbor's house who had the Vortex mirrors and who have seen a spirit, could that spirit not be going to all the different houses? Could it not be part of a wider connection? Joe and I talk about all the time, especially at the Monroe house, because we've been there a couple times now, and just the stories line up, the places that are surrounding it but not part of it. But it was one time owned by the same people. So I thought I just heard a man's voice say Meghan. So yes, I did introduce myself, I believe, but just in case I didn't, my name is Meghan, and I was just wondering if anyone had something to say. So when What the Paranormal came out with this challenge, naturally it made me think of growing up. When we were kids, we shared a room, and then the room was kind of divided by a chimney and a wall, and then the back half of the room we had used as a closet. And then at some point, when we didn't want to share a room anymore, we split up. Joe had the front part of the room, and I took the back part of the room, which had been the closet. And it's not like closet under the stairs, closet small. It was a big closet. It was a good sized closet. Like, there was enough room for it to be a room. I had bed and a couple of sets of drawers and stuff, so it was a good sized room. It's not like Harry Potter. But that was my room, and there would be times where I would have a sense of dread or a sense of uneasiness in that room. And that's part of one of the things that, experiences that we have, one of being multiple growing up with that room. And it would be to the point where I had a cat named Rocky, and if this is bedtime, and he did not want to go into the room, I also did not want to go into the room. And I've got a couple of scary stories that involve sleep paralysis, old hag syndrome. I saw a figure in that room. That figure ended up kind of following us when we went to college. So, it's definitely memories of that whole experience came up when we were looking at doing this challenge. And it would be a little interesting to me to go back to that house and investigate in there. I don't know, the people who bought it might have opened up the walls or something like that, and it might not be a closet anymore. But still, So going back, something you need? What is it that you need? Courage. You do need courage to face a monster in the closet. So I usually try to use AM because it's easier to eliminate radio bleed. You get more static out of AM than I feel that you do out of FM. So that's why I really prefer to use the AM stations. Oh, I thought I just saw a light. My name is Meghan. Is there someone here? The place that we were originally going to do this challenge in, and did do it. We're going to have to investigate there again. I'm always burning. Fire. Where was the fire? So there was recently, within the last year, a couple of folks who were, they were killed and their house was set on fire. And so just, if that is who was just speaking to me, then I'm sorry that you went through that, and I hope that you can find peace and move on. This challenge closet also carry with them a connotation of something hidden. Like I said, it was originally also one of the older uses of it was some place to store curiosities, or a secluded space that could be open to the air and was used for sacred rituals, they would refer to. That was the Latin word, the cloud. A space that was a small private space that was possibly open air. Also, the same word closet is etymologically related to the roots of cloister. They both come possibly from cloudera and cloud. So, somewhere sacred, somewhere where things are kind of hidden away or secret. It's no surprise that eventually it led to being used for, what's my timer? So I know it's been 15 minutes, but it's no secret it eventually came to be used as a colloquialism in the 1840s. A writer used it to refer to, said everyone has skeletons in their houses. And then in the 1850s, actually used the phrase skeleton in the closet for a secret. Edgar Allan Poe story, The Black Cat, specifically has a murderer talking about how he didn't, kill his wife, and he has people over and he knocks on the wall and then she falls out of it. So in like the 1920s and so, people were referred to as closet alcoholics. So it's been used as a word for something secret, and so that too, those dark things, that monster in the closet, what is it that you're hiding? And it's interesting to investigate and try to find where that darkness is. got that one reference to fire, but two references to fire. But even that was all I really picked up. So anyway, that was my timer. So I want to thank What the Paranormal for giving us this challenge, and look forward to whatever the next challenge might be. Thank you.
Let me try again. Can you tell me what this, what was done in this area before this building was here? Do you like to come here and walk around at night? My name's Johanna. If there is somebody with me, can you tell me your name? Oh, good. That turned off. What makes you come here? I hear doors closing and people moving around. Do you just come here, or do you come to other buildings near here? If there's somebody here with me, can you tell me your name? Can you tell me the name of the people that work here? Why do you come here? What year is it? And I'll try this again. Can you tell me what this property was used for when you were here? My name's Johanna. Is there anybody here with me? Some of the employees here have heard people moving around after hours. Is that you? So an air unit just kicked in. That might hurt my chances at EVPs.
Meghan from Paranormal. This is the closet challenge from What's Paranormal in their Paranormal Games. And I just want to thank them for letting us take part in the challenges. I have an S-box here that I have sitting on a station. My name is Meghan. May I ask what your name is? The people here sometimes think they hear the center doors open and closing. Is there someone here that is doing that? Thought I just heard it say asshole. Friendship. That's a nice word. I know that this location is a brewery now, and it used to be doctor's offices. Did you come here when it was doctor's offices? So I thought I just heard the name or word linking. Are you from before it was doctor's offices? So like I said, this is a local brewery. If you've watched our mirror challenge or our static challenge or the challenge that we just recently did, that was a mirror sensory deprivation challenge, then you would know some of the history of this area and location. Again, my name is Meghan. Is there anyone here with me? But I heard it say the word enduring. I thought I heard it say electric. Now I am in the closet and electrical panels and stuff like that. I received. What did you receive? Like I said, this is a local brewery. Do you like beer? Yeah. That could have been a happy coincidence. As I said, this is a local brewery. Are you a fan of beer? Yeah. Near Nashville. Okay. So we are near Nashville. This area was known for making barrels for whiskey distilleries and stuff like that. So people here have heard footsteps and they've heard doors opening and closing. Do you have a message for them? couple of words come through, but I didn't understand them. I'm going to try again. My name is Meghan. May I ask who I'm speaking to? We gathered here. This is a local brewery. It's a gathering spot. We have a pretty strong community around here. And this is definitely a fun place where people do like to gather. I'm sure if they let me out of here. So this challenge from what the paranormal is to stay in the closet for 15 minutes. So I've got a timer in my pocket. I think it's all around. What's all around? May I ask what your occupation is? No. Do you have a message for the people that work here? Have fun. We do have fun when we're here. They have live music. They do a beer club for us to have it like a community gathering place. This is definitely a fun location. They do trivia. They do bingo. There's a lot of laughs, a lot of love in this place. Do you promise? I do promise. Okay, so I actually thought I just heard it say something that didn't catch, and then Johnson. The reason why that's meaningful is because one of the people who works here has just started calling whatever might be here Mr. Johnson, and they don't know why they came up with that name, but that's the name that they're using. I'm going to try again. Hi, my name is Meghan. May I ask your name? Oh, it just said Henry. Is Henry your name? I thought I heard Henry again. Henry, can you tell me your last name? what? If there's a child here, can I ask how old you are? That is sure child's voice again, but I feel like the doctor that was here might have been a pediatric doctor. Were you from when there was doctor's office here, or were you from before that? I'm before. Can you tell me who the president is? Well, it just said Jefferson, so, I mean, Tennessee was not a state yet when Jefferson was president, I believe, but there were definitely settlers out here. Tennessee still, I believe, would have been part of North Carolina. I think Jefferson basically restored Louisiana purchased and stuff. I could be wrong. Tennessee. So was it a state when you were here already? I think it just said the first one. So obviously Tennessee was not the first state.